for example. So that's like a clear target. So
Okay.
which means that you really actively keep scouting for that element of the target. And then the second element of the target is I want you to drive the current volume or the current revenue from the test from these labs by 50 or 70% or 120, in my case, it was like 200%. And then that's what we want you to drive. And then you're free to hire people. I had about 30, 35 people within the first year I was there. And there was nobody telling me you cannot hire or you should not hire. He said clearly, it's your responsibility. You go and hire. There's no committee. There is no HR. I think there is actually no HR in the company, pretty much non-existent.
Okay. So, and sorry, the focus was always on the top line, or was there a focus on the cost base as well to make sure you deliver
both. Yes, it was on both. So for my organic growth, the focus was on the bottom line, not so much on the top line. It was on the EBITDA that was delivered.
Okay. Sorry, and it sounds a bit strange how one would expect the company to assess the M&A pipeline and opportunities based on what returns these can generate and the value it will add to shareholders. But it sounds like you were basically asked to go out there and buy as much stuff as possible to make sure you hit the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the lab business is also a bit of a different business, right? So what I call is that Eurofins is a distributor of innovation. So they don't innovate themselves. So they're distributors of innovations, which means what? Which means that getting access to the tubes is the most important thing, because what you want to do is have as many tubes as possible to have a large enough scale to be able to sit together with the Abbott, Roche, Thermo Fisher of the world and start tweaking the margins, which I think Eurofins has done very well and is going to continue to do that. Because if I look at the cost of the kits and reagents for Roche, the pricing difference between Spain and Sweden is astronomical. When I look at genetic tests, what Illumina charges in general is crazy, and I think they can do it today because they are exclusive. They can twist any arm they want. But I think the power equation is changing, and Eurofins is contributing to that, to change the power equation, and they're way more ruthless than anybody else. If you speak to anybody in the market who is a supplier to Eurofins, they will tell you that there is no other customer who watches for every penny as much as Eurofins does.
Okay.
So their objective is to consolidate the tubes, create the volume, and be on a very strong negotiating power with some of these guys to drive things down in terms of the cost. What Eurofins lacks is a marketing mindset. So they don't have anything like marketing. There is no marketing. I think I hired the first marketing colleague, and they were like shocked. Why do we need marketing? So I tried to explain them that if you want to sell to the consumers and go DTC on genetic high-value tests, you need to create that mindset. So they did get in a marketing person, I think, but she was super frustrated because every time she did something creative, she was told, no, let's do an Excel spreadsheet and communicate to people clearly. She says, that's not the way you communicate to customers. So again, I think because the whole organization, I was the only one who has a business school background. Everybody else has École Centrale and Polytechnique. So they are very linear, very engineering kind of thinking. So you give them anything that is creative, consumer-oriented, and they're lost. Today, I'm sure they will change and they will realize that that's an area they really need to fix and quickly, because genetic testing is moving very fast.
Okay, that's interesting. And sorry, how, you've mentioned sometimes these targets were aggressive. I'm guessing this is something people appreciated and probably Gilles appreciated as well, right? Does it make sense to you to have, so aggressive target, and why do you think they're pushing so hard?
I think it's Gilles' mindset. Gilles has a very, very specific mindset. For him, every individual is a cost. So, for example, if I'm traveling someday for, let's say, 5 days. So when I fill in my form to say I'm traveling, when I get back the form, it shows me I have to put in an estimated cost of the hotel, of the airfare, blah, blah. And then at the bottom line, he tells me for all employees, senior employees, there comes like a spreadsheet which says at the end of every travel request is, you are costing company X thousand euros, including your salary and bonus for this trip. So basically giving a message that you better get more business than the money you're spending for the travel. So he's very, very focused on what value